Yeah, I noticed this is a deck by Scavenger.
Yeah, so I had said before that I was kind of interested in building the Ochaco when I was first, looking at cards or whatever.
Hmm.
And my friend just shot me like a link to an Ochaco deck, and I built it. And kind of worked things out by myself on, combos and whatnot.
I love that.
So
I love that.
yeah, yeah.
So before we jump in for my YouTube frogs, this deck doctor is going to be all about you kind of giving me your ideas of the deck, because like the main thing that like is helpful is making sure that the deck stays in the same spirit that you want it, right? Like I could tell you this deck would be way cooler under a different symbol, but like that's kind of like not in the idea of it. And so a
Mm-hmm.
couple of preemptive questions is, this is a IRL deck, correct? It's not just a deck you want to play on tabletop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And so if I suggest cards to you that you have or don't have, let me know so that we can work around that, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
And then secondly, how competitive do you want this list to be?
Um, well, it would be nice to be able to, compete against your a good old Karishima, which, I have been able to beat a Karishima deck with this one. I still have yet to actually playtest against the Racerhead matchup, which I'd imagine it's, definitely tougher since you don't have the guaranteed momentum just from attacking right off the bat.
Right.
Um,
Well, you
but
well you do because of the response, right?
Well, that is because Eraserhead, as I recall, can just commit your character, right?
It's not
Or
commit. It says that you can't play abilities on the character during the attack, and Ochaco says that it responds
ah,
after you're done with it.
okay, so they can actually. All right, so it's
Yeah.
not as bad.
Yeah. You don't get to pick the card up, and you don't get the 3 speed, but you certainly get to
Mm-hmm.
steal your free from the card pool.
Yes, yes. Um, yeah. So that's definitely something important with this deck, where even if putting down Electric Surge, it's good because of the momentum enhance,
Mm-hmm.
but also with this deck you have options on what you want to do with your momentum as opposed to just putting it all into Bliss Rush or Meteor or Home Run Comet.
Mm-hmm.
I have the four of specialized sound waves, and as you saw in our one of our games, I actually use specialized sound waves mostly to kind of fail the checks on my opponents,
Yeah.
for my opponents, as opposed to actually topping up my own deck.
Mm-hmm.
I know the combo now where like you can put that response before the draw one,
Correct.
but I do find value in topping up the opponent's deck because if you have a setup for a kill turn with Ochaco, and you have the security and guarantee to make your opponent fail their blocks, that's just a lot of value right there.
I completely agree, especially if they're playing bad checks themselves, right? Like stacking 2 specialized
Yeah,
sound waves on their deck is like real rough. It's really, really rough.
yeah, yeah.
Love it.
And as I recall, doesn't Nomu have some two checks as well?
He does. I don't know how often he plays them, but he does have Gale Force Punch, which doesn't at
Yeah.
least exist in the sideboards, but I don't know if it comes out in the Ochaco match. I've not played as Nomu enough, but yeah, there are enough bad checks in the game to warrant playing it that way. And I gotta say, once again, the big compliments. Nobody ever plays that line, and that is not the line that I was expecting, and it very much threw off my math, and it for sure is one of the main reasons I lost that game. Besides the
Yeah,
fact that like your line is good.
I totally forgot about the electric jolt enhance to do that first because I usually just go down the line on my enhances.
Yeah.
But I forgot about that one foundation. But I already had in my head planned out for the specialized sound waves next, and I knew that likely I wouldn't fail to check on that.
Yeah.
So
Just flexing on me. I get it. Okay, so looking at the deck, 21 attacks in a 60 card deck. That's slightly above average by about 2 attacks. But like you're playing Ochaco, so you get to clear your card pool as well as find an attack for free. It did not feel like you were missing any attacks there, especially with the 4 2s. What do you think is the worst attack in your deck?
Worst attack. Um, I mean, honestly, so Meteor Shower is very good. I know it's a very good card.
Hmm.
I actually don't find myself actually utilizing it as much, like for the Meteor Shower loop, as much as you know, people would opt to do.
Hmm.
Um, just because ideally I have enough momentum by the time I have a home run comet or a blitz rush in hand
Right.
to just give a strong blow. Um, Electric Surge. When you were talking about the Jiro deck before, I actually really like Electric Surge just because, for example, you have that one enhance with where you discard one momentum, the attack gets +3 for the
Hmm.
7,
Yeah.
and that can bait out your opponent. If you also decide to go with the Ochaco enhance as well to
For the
give it
plus
plus
three speed.
three.
Yeah, 4 to
Yes.
7 for 7 seems pretty powerful.
And it can bait out your opponent pretty well for an attack afterwards, where they're like, "Oh, because most people are going to expect you to expend more of your resources on a stronger attack."
Hmm.
And also with a stun, and I find any stun attacks very, very, very useful. Like even for the Kirishima matchup, or like especially for the Kirishima matchup,
Hmm.
because if you can stack your stuns and then follow up with a blitz rush for the deadlock, it just makes it all the harder for him to actually clear the checks despite having as many foundations as he does.
Right.
And the electric surge helps build up the momentum to set up for that.
How do you like
But
Blitz Rush?
Blitz Rush is it's very in the times that I put it down on on the table and am able to use it. It's always a very satisfying attack to use.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
And it's a 2 of, so it's not like I am struggling too much with it.
Hmm.
I could I need to kind of practice using the Ochaco to help pick up attacks as well.
Yeah.
Because if I have like both in the discard, and I find an opportunity where I could use it, that's kind of a guaranteed way to put it into my hand.
Yeah,
So,
I
and
agree. A little coaching. I think one of the big shortcomings that you had whenever you were playing is memorizing your momentum as well as using that enhance on both offense and defense to like find that extra attack, find the extra juice. And your character kind of gets to pocket attacks in a way that no other character gets to, right? Like you could
yeah,
put Blitz Rush into your momentum on turn 2, like tap a couple foundations and make this play, and then pick it up whenever we get to that deadlock and just never spend it. And like you have a deadlock
yes,
throughout the rest of the game. And
yes.
I have to keep that in mind as I'm playing. So this is like another layer of friction that I have to go through when we're playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, like you forgot that I had picked up that electric jolt.
Correct. Correct.
I find it easier to remember what cards in my are in my momentum
Hmm.
in like physical cards just because you have the tactile memory
Yeah.
of placing the cards down. But yes, one card just in general that I was kind of like on was plugin because I don't find myself using its response very often. Even though it is a good response, but
Hmm.
it depends on the deck that you're going up against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this card sucks. I think this card's not very good.
Like, what would you because so I have a 3 of right now, and for it, what would you like replace it with?
I actually want to go back to the assets. You're not playing footsteps. You're not playing the boots. Why not?
The boots are
Jiro's boots.
Oh, yes.
Earphone check.
Well, I only have one card physically.
Mm-hmm.
This deck list didn't have them, but I did consider adding them
Okay.
into a side deck at least. But I definitely would add them just because it's especially because I'm running the forget forget what I was thinking about. My train of thought completely left my mind. But yes, it is a card that I would like to add to my deck. I don't know if how many I would put in.
I think it at a one of is actually perfect. If you
Okay.
feel like as you're playing with it and as you see it, you like it more and more and more, you can increase that number to 2 at the absolute max. But I think a
Mm-hmm.
one of this card is so crazy good in Ochaco because it is just more speed across the rest of the kit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And
your
to,
specialized sound waves becomes 5 high for 3, which means they're just not allowed to block that card. They just can't. Even if they have the one high block, they're not allowed to commit the foundation because of the home run comet or the blitz rush coming in later.
yeah.
And it
Yeah,
also
yeah,
lets you
yeah.
double down on it lets you double down on playing your character's ability. Like after you play 3 attacks, this card has made up the resources of your character. Right? It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And not to mention, you are playing a very aggressive deck. And if you check bad in an aggressive deck, Earful and Jack is a safety net. After your attack deals damage, Ready Foundation has not been ready for this
Mm-hmm.
combat phase. And so you're just like, oh, my Jolt did 1 damage. I will ready this foundation. And like, imagine having more Amphibious in your deck. That's essentially what this card does, right?
Huh.
And so
Yeah.
like you just get to extend your combo that much longer whenever you don't need the speed anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Back to the attacks. I noticed you're not playing the throw, her throw. What's your thoughts on that?
The throw, if I can get it back on here, air
Rising,
search.
rising, zero gravity lift. That's the name of that card.
Zero gravity lift. Um, I mean, I don't consider it like it's a good attack. Like there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just built what this deck list kind of mm, provided, and I just kind of went with it. And my
Sure.
first focus was to just kind of play it for a while and see what the strategies are with the deck itself.
Yeah.
And then see what cards maybe I would consider putting in or taking out over time as I became more familiar with it.
Okay.
And so the thing is about the attack lines is that on their own already it feels very good. And it's more of a matter of like options on what it is that I feel is more valuable.
Okay.
I remember someone asking me why I run a 4 of specialized sound waves as opposed to zero gravity capture, for example. And well, they were saying that it's playing a 2 attack is scary or whatever, but it is a very, very good attack when you want to set up for a chain, for example,
I agree.
and top up your opponent's deck. And the 2 check is the trade off for it being such a good card. But for the zero gravity lift, let's see. So remove after your attack resolves added to your momentum. If you were to add it, what would you replace?
I would, because of the kind of player that you are, and I've seen you play 5 games total now.
Yeah.
I would actually cut 1 meteor shower from a 4 of to a 3 of and just put it in a 1 of. And the reason is this is guaranteed 3 damage every turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because you play it, you use a Ochaco to put it in your momentum, and then on their turn you commit a Ochaco and pick it back up, and it's a throw. So even if they fully block it, you're still going to get that damage through. Not to mention, it is another one of those safety nets of, yo, I absolutely... And it also lets you like play Blitz Rush twice in a turn, right? You get to play double Home Run Comet, right? You Home Run Comet, you make the buff happen or whatever. You enhance on Zero Gravity Lift, put it in your momentum. You play another attack. You enhance on Ochaco, and you pick this Home Run Comet back up. And so like, there's ways to pseudo loop. You turn one attack into a second attack, essentially.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I definitely see that, yeah. Especially like I am definitely fine with taking out one meteor shower as well, just because I'm like from what you've seen as well, I don't find myself looping the meteor shower as much as utilizing all my other resources.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because yeah, meteor shower for one doesn't really take advantage of the momentum that I'm building up itself.
Correct.
So that's kind of one thing that I never really find myself using the card for, but it is also a good option so that you have like you can keep cards in hand, and also if you want to continue a an attack chain. Um,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think you because of your play style, right? I don't think the meteor shower
yeah,
is a very nil card, right? I think that it is good and it has its uses. And I like my big suggestion for you leveling up is to actually lean in more slightly on the meteor shower. Like right now on like a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like you're like a 3 on that card. I want you to push it a little bit
hmm
more up to a 5 because it does get to take your bad foundation cards in your hand and just turn them into
hmm
attacks, which is just like
yes,
an amazing thing for not just your character but for every character.
yeah,
And so I
yeah,
would really suggest looking into pressing the meteor shower button just a little bit more. But I agree that I don't think like I lost my games against you because you didn't meteor shower me. I was so my entire game plan was to make sure the meteor shower never touched me. And then you never did anything with meteor shower, and I put all my resources and all my thoughts and all my every. No, it's great lines of play, right? It is showing you that like the power of that card was the fact that you didn't play it, but at the same time, the next time that we play, I am going to know that your meteor showers are not possibly not going to come back out of your momentum. And so I don't have to prepare for meteor shower. I need to prepare for specialized sound waves and the blitz rushes and the home run comments,
hmm
right? And
yeah,
so
yeah,
you can't make me afraid of that threat if that threat never actually comes. And so at
yeah,
some point inside of the hopefully 2, possibly 3 games that you play inside of your match, that meteor shower needs to be a little more active so that
yes,
whenever especially at your local group, they don't just like, oh, meteor shower is just not a card in this deck.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Besides that, I think your tech lineup's great. You already heard what I said about Electric Surge possibly being the flash attack. I think that flash attack is insane in Ochaco, especially with Home Run Comet, because making Home Run Comet a 3 diff or a 2 diff is actually crazy. And the fact that you can just jam that card into your card pool, not care if it gets blocked, the 4 low for 4, and then just throw it in your momentum on that turn. If you have an aggressive hand with Home Run Comet, you're just going to murder them.
Which flash attack?
The amplified sound blast question mark.
Where
Yes.
is it?
It's a 4/3 3 mid block 4 low for 4. It's a flash. If it gets
Ah,
added to your momentum, add it face up. Enhance momentum flip. Your next charge or weapon attack this turn gets -2 difficulty. Deadlock
yes.
response. Draw 2 cards, which is insane in your deck, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And which card would I be consider replacing?
Possibly one of your surges.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's doable.
Yeah. Or you can maybe even put it like 2 and 2. Something like that, because like your home run comets, like how many times have you attempted to play home run comet and you've completely tapped out and you left resources on the board and you didn't quite kill them, right? If you have the enhance on amplified sound blast, you get to keep at least 2 of those resources ready. Maybe that's Ochaco herself to give this thing an extra 3 speed. And so like it just like helps you guarantee. It also turns your blitz rush into a 4 diff. Right? And so now you can play your blitz rushes at the end of your chains because your blitz rush is a 4 and all you did was flip a momentum that you would already have. It just is giving you more options and more lines. And because I'm going to force you to put charged up to a 4 of in this deck, you get to take these key pieces and you get to shove them into your momentum, and then with Ochaco you get to pick them up.
Yes. All right. I should probably make some notes. But yes, yeah. Since I'm doing a 2 of charged or 4 of charged up, and a 1 of what's it called, of the asset, it'll be easy to just replace plug-in as well. Just I never find myself using that card ever.
Yeah, that card sucks. That card's a real bad one.
Yeah, and it's not even like a low block or anything, or
Yeah,
one block.
yeah.
Um, but yes, and I do. Oh man, I do like the amplified sound blast a lot. It's,
Yeah,
hmm.
it is one of my favorite kind of gotcha moves, and at the same time, it's a pseudo Kirishima killer, right? Because they're not allowed to interact with it. Like an easy turn against
Mm.
Kirishima is actually just amplified sound blast, build, pass. Right? They had to hold a low block against you because they couldn't tutor one from their stage. They didn't get to build a resource on your turn. Their character is literally blank against this card,
Yeah, that's true. That's
as
true.
well as it's a 3 mid block against Shigaraki. I'm making this deck after we get done. This is what I'm doing.
One card I was also looking at was because I mean, as you were saying, it's a pretty good card. Was which one was it? The long-lasting explosion.
Yes, man, I love this card. This card's sweet.
Like, and, I mean, it would be great in this deck as well.
Yeah, it is
If
another copy of our character, right?
essentially, yeah.
The
And
only
I mean, you could pick it up as well.
the only issue that I have with it is it's a 5 diff. If we absolutely wanted to abandon Meteor Shower, if you were determined to get rid of that card, I think I'd be down. Actually, for you, I think you do that. I think you absolutely get rid of this card. Right? Because if you have 2 long-lasting explosions, right? Here's our line. We play long-lasting explosion, we press the button on it, we shove it to our momentum, we play another long-lasting explosion, we say our next move gets 3 damage, we commit Ochaco, we pick this up. This is an 8 mid for 9, and then you just play another the long-lasting explosion you just played, and now it's another 5 mid for 9. Holy shit, that's so much damage. That's way more value than you're going to get out of your Meteor Shower, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
I would
Exactly.
actually test that and play Ochaco without Meteor Shower. I'm losing my mind.
I mean, that's the thing. So that's one thing that I've been thought about Meteor Shower. It's like I usually find myself only adding it either to my momentum or as fodder for like a home run comet.
Mm-hmm.
But I hardly find myself interacting with it as much as like I would want to. But the thing that you want to do with Meteor Shower, right, is to loop it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to replace it altogether with Long Lasting Explosion for some chaining for speed or for damage, I'm pretty sure it just makes up for, the Meteor Showers. I feel like the damage could help cover for the loss of reusing it in a way.
I actually agree with you. And if we're going to do that, I actually think we have to take Electric Surge down to a 2 of and put in another copy of Amplified Sound Blast because it's a 5 diff, right? Because, like, one of the, like, we play Blitz Rush at a 2, we play Jolt at a 2, we play Surge at a 2, we play Amplified Sound Blast at a 2, Specialized Sounds Wave at a 4, and just realize that, like, we're going to check some scary, like, if you check a 2 on these 5s, it's going to be rough. Meteor Shower at a 0. We put we try wherever that card's
We
name
also
is.
do have the amplified sound blast to help with the checks as well.
Correct. And we're gonna change some of our we're gonna add in at least 2 of the Bakugo 6 check to make sure because now we're adding so many. Whoa, that was insane. I just had wow. Flame Lord, thank you so much for the gifted subs. That's insane. I just got gifted subs, and that was like unexpected and rad. That was very cool.
Awesome.
Wow, I just want to play this card. Everything. This long explosion is so cool. Yeah, this is so cool.
An asset. I mean, it just also just goes so well with this deck and what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And comboing it with the Sound Blast as well. Let's see. So if with the changes, so 2 Blitz Rush, you said 2 Jolt?
No, I think we keep the 3 Jolt because it's guaranteed. Actually, it's because it's the committal. I don't know. We have to actually.
Yeah.
I've copied this deck. I get to mess around with it now. So we go 2 Rush. We get to go 3 Long Lasting. That might get cut down to a 2 question mark. But we'll see. There's 4/4. We get to cut this all the way down to. We're gonna put 1 in the sideboard so that I have it on the table at least. And then we get to play 1/0 Gravity Lift. And every time I see Ochaco in Nitro Explosion Ignition, I just like want to pop off. Okay. So now let's see what it looks like here. Okay, so we're back to. We still have 21 attacks. Yeah, but now we have changed what our list looks like. Can you? I'm sharing my screen to you. Can you see what my
Yes.
screen looks like?
Yes.
So I've got the 2 Bliss Rush, the 3 Jolts, 2 Surge, 4 Sound Waves, 4 Comet, 3 Long Lasting, 2 Amplified, 1/0 Gravity Lift.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this is slightly like, and this is the way that you were playing it. This is more of a toolbox deck because of Long Lasting being such a bomb as well as a flow card into the rest of your deck. You're playing 6 flash cards, right, with Soundwave and Blast to like fight Hiroshima, and then versus your 7-handers, you literally could just play 0 Gravity Lift until they die.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0 Gravity Lift plus Jolt to like just hit guaranteed damage, and then just stack up your momentum the way that you want to, and then hit a big Blitz Rush. And with Amplified Sound Blast just being a flip for your charge to get it, you could spend it on Home Run Comet. And once again, we're going to put Charged Up at a 4 in our deck. So we get to reuse these tools inside of our momentum more and more and more.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Sound Blast at a 2. Charge up at a 4. Take out plug in whatever.
Yeah, plug in is gone. And then we're gonna take. Do you have a UVS Ultra profile?
On the website, I just made one.
Okay, so if you look at here and you just press the word copy.
Okay.
It'll just copy it into your list. That's what I've done. So now this is a TAM original.
I see.
Yeah. So now I get to come here. I get to go back here. This just turned into less of a deck doctor, more of a let's build a deck together. Yeah, I think that like the way that you played that Ochaco deck was so crispy. It was so good, and it really put me back on like wanting to. We could play capabilities in our deck. How many Furies do we have? Just hold up. Is it just the one? I want to make Fury Ochaco now.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Focus back up, Tam. Focus back up. Earphone jack at the 1 is perfect, I think. And now we get to move on to just foundations.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think charged up at the 4 of is mandatory. I love requesting assistance because we're playing a bunch of 2s. Shock treatment is fine. We easily could cut it and put it in the sideboard for possible disruption. Yeah. How do you like short circuit?
Short circuit. So I think it's fine, like having 2 or maybe even 1 of, just because if you know that you're up against a deck that's just going to combo for like a big hit at the end, just you completely disregard that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know what the card does, at least where I am or whatever, and so they're like, oh.
Capitalizing on the. I think it's really good versus everything except for like these 3 symbols, right? Like Ochaco symbols. It's bad versus Jiro. It's bad versus like a lot of things.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I also don't like that you have to destroy the card as well.
I think destroy is a fine cost. My issue is it says non-charge attack to its printed damage, and normally if you have to put something back to its printed damage, it means it's going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
I'm not positive what kind of good low blocks we have, though. Oh, we have Arrogant Disposition, and we're putting this card in for sure.
Okay.
This card has to be. I think this card actually is the 2 of that replaces this card. and then we put short circuits in our sideboard, because if we need short circuit, then it needs to be a card that we like are specifically playing, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
fighting short circuit versus like All Might is like an exceptionally good card, right? They powerful 8 a move, and you go absolutely not, no thank you. Right, the only card that they get to get away with that on is Future Charge, and they're not powerful 8 the Future Charge. If you have them powerful 8 the Future Charge, you won the game.
Yeah. Let's see. So 1 of on that, just because if you know what you're gonna go up against, and that it would find some utility.
I've just put it as a 1 of in the sideboard because it's an option. The big thing here is we want to fill out. I just wanted it to stay on this page as I'm deck building.
Ah, yes.
I'm actually gonna put Erica Disposition up to a 3. And then that puts us back to our 60, 14, 30, 20s, or 16. Place at the 4.
Wait, how do you add cards to the side?
If you take and you click on the card itself, a little UFS spec,
Yes.
you have set regular and then set side directly underneath it. You just click the number and it'll put it in the
Ah,
sideboard.
yes.
Yeah. And you can
So
even
thank
take
you.
and set number of cards from main to side or whatever.
All right.
I'm gonna refresh this and then look. Let's look at difficulty of our foundation, see how much spam we have. 23. That's so much. We love that. Double rescue completed. Man, I love this card, but we're playing 4 2s. I think this deck is kind of exactly where I have it, even to the point of like keeping shock treatment in the main board. This is where I think that I would run this deck from, and I would. This is gonna be a way bigger brained deck than the one that you had before, because you've lowered some consistency numbers to expand upon the plays that you have. Another reason that I wanted to take out as many surges as you had was there was a lot of time where you ended games with momentum on the table, like just in your thing. And surge combos really, really well with Blitz Rush, but by the time that you were playing Blitz Rush, you were giving it plus 12 damage, and I was at 8. And so like you didn't need to go crazy hard with the Blitz Rush. Right?
Yeah.
And you got 2 deadlock abilities on Amplified Sound Blast and Blitz Rush. Is there any good... We have it with Observant Student as well as a good deadlock. Pick a range attack from your discard pile to your hand. Ranged.
I don't think there's any range though.
There is Specialized Sound Wave as a ranged.
Yes.
Yeah, and Meteor Shower if we absolutely needed it to go back in the deck.
Absolutely right.
This looks like a really, really well-rounded deck. This deck looks really, really good, and I'm going to play it at locals next week. And I will let you know over on Patreon how it does.
Sounds good. I do like the sound of that.
Any questions? Chat. We did not deck doctor as much as we just like made a deck together. What are your?
I mean, the deck.
What are your thoughts?
Let's see. So I definitely I'm going to consider building it, or well, I would probably test it online first, just because the Bakugo cards to begin with are a bit difficult to get a hold of.
For sure.
But I think it would be more to the playstyle that I was actually playing, as opposed to most people, are going to be looping the Meteor Shower. But this is, different.
It is different.
But
and the other thing is like with this build, you can sideboard into 2 other characters and feel good about it. Like this deck can easily play Home Run Comet as a Denki deck, right? Or Blitz Rush as a Denki deck, or like playing Amplified Sound Blast into your pool, playing these Specialized Sound Waves, them hitting, going to your momentum, play Zero Gravity Lift, play Blitz Rush. When you have 6 momentum, like that kills people. That kills other people. One of Denki's big issues is him finding speed, and we have it on Long Lasting Explosion and a Blitz Rush. Like I think Long Lasting and a Blitz Rush is going to kill so many people on turn 2. It's going to kill so many 7-handles on turn 2.
And Ochaco is just helps, bump it and bump up the Blitz Rush even more.
Yes.
Uh,
Hey, this is a 10 high for 8. Block it, nerd. And then if you absolutely want to, if you want to play a more control game, you can sideboard into Jiro and then just play 4 home run comets in a turn. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this deck looks sweet. This deck looks very, very cool.
And I'll look forward to trying it out in a future stream.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to hit the mirror match again and see how it goes this time.
Yeah.
I know.
I think.
Thank you so much. This was an absolute blast. I'll catch you back on Patreon and for sure in the stream.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Peace.